All right, thank you very much. We have a full house this morning, so I appreciate everyone being here. It's another wonderful day here in Manatee County. It's so nice to be back after a long break or a short break. But thank you for everyone being here. And as we do at every meeting, we always start off with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. And before we do, Commissioner Ballard will be doing the invocation for us this morning. But it's really exciting this morning for our pledge to have not only a military family, but a county family here this morning going to do the pledge for us. We have Bill Kersey, Teresa Kersey, and Bill Kersey IV are all county employees, and they're all military veterans. And real briefly, they all served, let me find my notes, thank you. Bill Kersey served in 20 years in the Navy, received good conduct medals, battle ease, meritorious units commendations, Defense National Service Medal, and Medal National Reservist Meritorious Service Medal. And Mrs. Kersey, Teresa Kersey, served in the Navy also. So I don't know what happened to their son, but he went to the Air Force. But it's a great family. And Teresa served in the United States Navy and received a Battle E Medal for Joint Service Medal. And the son, our other Bill Kersey, served 6 years in the Air Force, received an Air Medal with 3 Oak Leaf Cluster, Meritorious Unit Award, Air Force Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Medal, Afghan Campaign Medal, Global War on Terrorism Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Air Force Expeditionary Service Medal, and he is an NCO graduate and small arms marksman. So thank you all for being here. So what I'd like to do is, if we would all stand, Commissioner Ballard will start with the invocation, and then we'll have the pledge.
Lord, thank you for bringing us here together today. Help us to make wise decisions and to consider your will in everything that we do. Amen.
Thank you. All right, the pledge. Y'all can come all up to the microphone. There you go, right there. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Kerseys, for your service to our great nation and to our county. Thank you for being here today. All right, moving forward. Are there any announcements or changes to the agenda?
Yes, Chair, the agenda update memorandums have been added to the online agenda.
All right, thank you, sir. What we're going to do now is we're going to adjourn this meeting, the Board of County Commissioner meeting, and we're going to have our Port Authority meeting. So we're adjourned. Commissioner Van Ostenbridge.
All right, good morning, and welcome to the Port Authority of Manatee County. Today is July 30th, 2024. It's a beautiful day in Manatee County. Call the meeting to order, and we'll start with public comment. Is there anyone who would like to come forward to address the Port Authority on any of the items on today's agenda? Any public comment for today's Port Authority meeting? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment, and we will then move on to the consent agenda. We'll verbally take motions on consent. Well, first of all, would anyone like to pull anything from consent? Okay, hearing none, we'll take motions on consent verbally.
So moved.
So we have a motion to pass the consent agenda by Commissioner Ron. It's been seconded by Commissioner Ballard. All in favor of passing consent, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Madam Clerk, consent passes unanimously by a vote of 5-0, with Commissioner Bearden absent and Commissioner Parrish not existent. Executive Director comments. Carlos.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. The board continues to hit on all cylinders. The business continues to grow exponentially. The financial results are also outstanding. And the amount of jobs being created at the port as a result of the increased business is really very, very positive. So we're glad to be able to continue as one of the economic engines of Manatee County to bring those jobs and opportunities. And with your support, we'll continue to expand that in the coming months. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Well, sir, we like good news. Nice, easy summer out at the port, huh? Excellent. Are there any commissioner comments before we adjourn?
Yes, Mr. Chair, what I'd like to make a comment on is that it's been long overdue, but the Corps of Army Engineers has finally given the port a refund of three of its $6 million. And I'd like to thank Congressman Vern Buchanan for all of his help with that. So
Yes,
the port
sir.
is $3 million richer today.
Absolutely. We always like getting our money back. Thank you so much to Congressman Buchanan, and thank you, Commissioner Ron, for bringing it up. Any other commissioner comments? All right. Hearing none, then we are adjourned.
Thank you.
All right, we're back in session, so let's see how that works. It's pretty crazy. What we're going to move on to now is awards, presentations, and proclamations. And this is one of our fun ones we're able to do, is for the presentation of the July Employee of the Month award to Jeremy Miller. So everyone coming forward for, where's Jeremy? Here comes Charlie. I see that. Yep. There he is. Come on down, folks. Don't be shy.
Well, Mr. Chairman, as employees of the Natural Resources Department are coming down to join in this celebration. I think there's some, all right. Yeah. This is truly an occasion supported by who you see here that is honoring Jerry's moment in time as Employee of the Month. It's a moment in time that is built upon a moment of service, a time of service to the public, a time of service to the environment, and a time of service to himself. The employees who work with Jerry, work around Jerry, and have the opportunity to have Jerry mentor them are some of the most rewarded, I think, in the county. And I can't say enough about Jerry Miller's reach, his outreach to the public, and his service to his fellow staff and to each member of this board as he works hard out there at Duet Preserve and all the other 30,000 acres that we have, you have, the public has, as conservation in Manatee County. I'd like to turn my little talk over to Mike Ellswick. A number of supervisors here want to say something about Jerry. This doesn't happen very often. And here we go.
Okay. All right. I'll keep it short and sweet. Jerry Miller Jr. was just 19 when we hired him in 2017, basically a first-round draft pick for us. And even though he was only 19, he had more land management experience than a lot of people who we hired much later in life. That's just part of growing up in the cattle ranching business. He learned how to build fence, trap hogs, burn the woods, spray weeds at a young age. So came to us with a lot of experience that we immediately put to our benefit. Jerry always raises his hand and volunteers for the toughest assignments. He pushes himself to the limits, physiological limits, working out in triple digit index, heat index rather, and really pushing it and demonstrating, what it takes to be a ranger, an exemplary ranger. He never complains, and basically, I mean, he is one of the main ingredients in our recipe for success. I just hope we can keep him, and maybe we can get him a raise sometime.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you. First things first. No snakes in your pocket, right? No snakes. Okay. All right. Make sure he's clear of snakes. So, I'm so proud of Jerry. Coming in day one, a little bit of something that's a big feat for the department. First thing is what a person he is, and the testament of his coworkers is showing up to support him and his friends throughout the county. So I can't When you get that support from other departments and whatever, you can't lose because we have to do this all together. And so another big thing that Jerry contributed at day one, at a young age, come in. I've never seen anybody pick up prescribed fire from start to finish. We're pushing about 15,000 acres this year of prescribed fire, which is off the charts. And Jerry is a big part of it. And we won't leave our coworkers out because they help us too. But Jerry is a big part of that. Another thing too is him and his coworkers do every year is they put in it's called the FWC Uplands Grant. And so again, at a young age, he'd come right in, putting in for those grants. And I want you guys to know that with, I think it's 5 or 6 counties that compete for this, they put in for it, and so your preserves rank in the top 5 almost every year, and we're talking like $300,000 for treating invasive grasses and stuff like that. And so that's a huge thing. So again, Jerry, I can't thank you enough, for what you do for me. You definitely make me a better supervisor, and congratulations on your Employee of the Month.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, well, I'm not too good at talking. I wrestle 300-pound hogs, pythons, and rattlesnakes, but I'm nervous about this morning. I want to start off and say thank you to the commissioners for this honor. Thank you to those who voted for me and nominated me. Thank you to Ms. Lacey Pritchard for that wonderful write-up you did. That meant a lot to me, especially in regards to, to my conservation efforts. I want to start out with a quote from Steve Irwin. The mission is simple: love and conserve our wildlife, and that's something I've tried to do, with my actions, and my passion in life. I grew up on a cattle ranch in Manatee County, in East Manatee County, and some of my, earliest memories are learning about land management on the back of a horse with my father, or in the cab of a tractor, or on a controlled burn, long before I knew the ecological importance of those practices. So I want to say thank you to him for instilling, a hard work ethic in me, him and my mom, who are here today. And then, I'm so incredibly lucky to work with such a great team of individuals. It's not easy to manage lands that are so diversely different, from the coast, to the east, whether it's flatwoods, mangroves, scrub habitat. So they all do it with grace, and they all do it great, and they never complain. It's an awesome team of people. And then I want to specifically thank my immediate team at Do It Preserve, my supervisor, Johnny McLeod, who just spoke. He's got to be the hardest working supervisor in the county. He, whether it's 103-degree heat index, he's out there, laying down fire with us on a prescribed fire. So that's really cool. Mark, Clayton, Gary Fortson, all of them, I've learned so much from them, and they took me in at 19 years old, and I've learned so much, and I hope I continue to learn from them, and I'm inspired every day. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the information outreach team for putting out all that, the message of conservation. Like I said, that's a passion of mine in life, and hope I continue to grow and continue to learn. And like I said, I'm so honored, to be able to do a job that I love is an honor in itself. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, don't go anywhere.
This doesn't say enough. But Jerry, you are presented the Employee of the Month from Manatee County Government in recognition of your outstanding performance, productivity, here it goes, dedicated service to Manatee County on the 30th day of July 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
But, Jeremy, don't go anywhere. Jeremy, Commissioner Ballard's on the board.
Jerry, it's so great to hear your story and about your passion for conservation, our wildlands, and wildlife in Manatee County. So thank you so much for the work you do. I have to say, I know it's probably very physically hard work, but in some ways I really kind of envy you for being able to be out there in our beautiful preserves every day. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we're honored for sure.
Thank you, Commissioner. Jerry, thank you for wrestling on 300-pound hogs out there. You know what I'm saying?
I don't envy that.
So we don't have to go out there and do it, but thank you for the great work you do out at DeWitt. DeWitt is one of our prize possessions we have in Manatee County, and all the great work you and your teams do out there, it just keep that place. It's a great place to go. If a citizen has not gone out to DeWitt yet, go out to DeWitt. And thank you so much. We're so proud to have you as Employee of the Month this month, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Van Ostenbridge.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I actually know Ranger Jerry. Got to know him because I've been out there a few times. We did a controlled burn, him, Mark. I don't know who else is, any of those guys are here that were there when we went out there. What I want to point out to everybody is we have sort of the folks that work for the county that are the face of the county. People see all the time. People like first responders, paramedics, code enforcement, transit, right? They face with the public all the time. And then there's what your mind would first jump to in Manatee County, which is utilities or public works employees who are out working in the heat all day, keeping water flowing, that sort of thing. all the way out in Duet Preserve is where people are working their tails off every day, sweating, serving the county, and they're not getting any gratitude. No one is seeing you every single day working hard out there. We know you're out there working hard every day, but I just want to, Jerry's done a great job, and he's the Employee of the Month, and you've earned it, and congratulations. I want to also give kudos to the rest of your team as well, because I know you're not the only one, not by any means, and literally no one sees you guys out there working every single day for as hard as you do for the county. So I just want to make sure I give props to all of you guys, to the whole team, and thank you for everything that you do for Manatee County every single day. And this guy knows Duet literally, and they all do, like the back of their hands. There's rumors when I was out there doing the burn of a Florida Panther. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, you guys, send us a video of the Florida Panther. It was like 3 weeks. There was a video of a Florida Panther. I mean, it's like done. Oh, here you go, no problem, sir. So he's wrestling hogs. He's spraying. He's burning. They all are. And anyway, we thank you for your service to the county every single day. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks for all you do. All right. What? Everyone in Natural Resources clear out? There's nobody at Duet right now. There's nobody at Duet. The hogs are running wild out of Duet right now. Next up is a presentation. It's the presentation of certificates of appreciation to the Master Gardener Volunteer Class of 2024. So who's doing that for us?
Okay, just stand right back here. Yeah. We'll let them all get up here. Good morning. My name is Alyssa Vinson. I'm the residential horticulture agent at the UF IFAS Extension here in Manatee County. And I have had the pleasure for almost 6 years of leading the Master Gardener Volunteer Program as horticulture agent. We did actually already hand out the certificates in class, so we didn't take up too much time today. But I just want to highlight some of the things that our Master Gardener volunteers do for the county. I'm not sure if everybody knows about University of Florida IFAS Extension in Manatee or what our volunteers do, but they spend over 10,000 hours every year out in our communities doing education, answering your questions, providing valuable service to children, those with special needs at our libraries. We have different demonstration gardens throughout the county that they help to maintain, especially the one that we have at our office in Palmetto. If you've not been, I definitely recommend you come check us out. We have fruit trees, we have Florida native gardens, we have all kinds of exciting things out there. But more than anything else, I have to say that Master Gardeners are dedicated. They are individuals who have a wealth of lived knowledge and experience, and they've chosen to dedicate their time to sharing that passion and that generosity of spirit with their community. And so we're really excited to recognize this class this year. We had about 12 folks in our class start out. We had 11 folks finish the class. It's a pretty tough class. It's 13 weeks of training. It's basically like a botany, soil science, entomology, meteorology, all kinds of things rolled into one over the course of 13 weeks. We spend 3 hours every week on Wednesday together, and then they also work through online modules. And so we have a group of well-informed individuals who can tell you almost anything you need to know about your plants in your yard. And then at the end of it all, they have to sit through a 47 plant identification exam. So all of the individuals this year completed their plant ID exam with a 94% or higher, and we had 4 individuals get 100% on the exam. So we have just an incredible group of people this year, and I just want to take the opportunity to recognize all of you and thank you for your service to the community. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I have a quick question. You want to ask a question?
You go ahead.
I have a quick question. The Master Gardener classes, do they go out to all the parks that we have or the gardens that we have in Manatee County, like the community gardens and things like that?
So we have a partnership with Mac Lessig, who's our Community Gardens Program Coordinator, to have our Master Gardener volunteers help out in the gardens in kind of a scouting and training capacity. So they provide information to the folks who participate in the community gardens on things like scouting for pests and disease, fertilization recommendations, planting recommendations. But then we also have at one of our libraries, Palmetto Library, at Emerson Point Preserve, actually, the butterfly garden out there. And then we have another demonstration site at Anna Maria Elementary. So we have different demonstration gardens at different public properties throughout the county.
And if I could just give another plug for a new community garden that will be opening at John Marble Park. Well, listen. So if any of you wonderful gardeners know people who live in that area of our county who would be interested in participating in a community garden, please get in touch with me, because we are scouting for passionate gardeners in that area of town. Thank you.
Well, and if I might add too, if you haven't heard of the Master Gardener Volunteer Program here in Manatee County, we were one of the first 3 counties in the state of Florida to initiate this volunteer program. We've had a Master Gardener Volunteer Program since 1979. We have volunteers in the program that have been dedicated volunteers providing service to the community for 27 plus years. So when people get engaged, they really stay engaged, and they really find passion and community. And I'm really excited to see what this new class will bring.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much for what you do. Thank you. We won't send you out to duet and wrestle hogs, though, so you don't worry about that.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you all. Thank you, guys. All right, up next, we have our proclamations that we do, and what I'm looking for is a motion to adopt the proclamations that are being read today.
So moved.
All right, thank you. Motion by Commissioner Ballard, second by Commissioner Van Ostenbridge. Up first, we have a presentation for pretrial, probation, and parole supervision week, and Commissioner Turner is going to read that proclamation for us. You have too much experience.
A little too personal.
Nobody's doing probation either this morning.
Everybody, holy mackerel, we can empty the room.
Nobody's doing probation this morning either.
I knew they'd find me.
Oh.
Thank you, Chair. Whereas community corrections is an essential part of the criminal justice system, and whereas community correction professionals uphold the law with dignity while recognizing the right of the public to be safeguarded from criminal activity, and whereas community correction professionals are responsible for supervising adult and juvenile offenders in the community and are trained to provide services and referrals for offenders, and whereas community corrections professionals work in partnership with community agencies and groups, promote prevention, intervention, and advocacy, and whereas community corrections professionals provide services, support, and protection for victims and have been and are and will spotlight wellness unveiled, navigating the journey. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County that July 21st through the 27th, 2024 shall be known, designated, and set aside as Pretrial, Probation, and Parole Supervision Week in Manatee County, Florida, and all citizens are encouraged to honor these community corrections professionals and recognize their achievements. Adopted with a quorum present, voted on this 30th day of July, 2024, and signed by our Honorable Chair, Michael Roth. Who's coming up?
Thank you, sir. Who's speaking on behalf?
I will.
Okay.
I'll talk and then you.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Berg. I am honored to be the Probation Services Manager in Manatee County. We have pretrial release, we have misdemeanor probation, we have an offender work program, and we have a pretrial intervention. As I said, I am honored to work there. I am proud to say that every day I see many of the staff that are here, there's many that are still in the offices, that every day I see them work with people that are seeing us on the worst days of their lives, and they take the time to stop and see what is going on in their lives and see what they can do to make their lives better, see what they can do to try to make a change in their lives so that hopefully maybe they won't come back and see us, even though, as we've seen, some of them actually do come back and try to see us and try to talk to us because we've built a relationship with them, and they do trust us, and they do sometimes want to share the good and bad that has happened in their lives, as you saw with our Employee of the Month, Yesenia, in May. I am extremely proud and honored to work with these people every single day. They are amazing, wonderful people, and the work that they do is unbelievable. And again, this is just some of the people that we work with. And again, I want to make sure that I do point out, I feel very lucky to have Sarah, Lee, and the county administrator, Charlie, because they have all been extremely supportive of the work that we do every single day. And I do not want to forget our counterparts, Elizabeth Klein, who's here for Stephanie DeTroya. So would you like to say anything?
I'm Elizabeth Klein. I'm the office supervisor for the Manatee County State Probation Office. We supervise all of the people that are convicted of felonies. And we thank you for honoring us along with county probation, and we appreciate them inviting us along as we continue to try to make Manatee County the safest and best county in the state.
Thank you all for all the hard work you really do. Thank you for dealing with some of the folks that just, they're having tough times, and you guys put up with a lot of stuff. I'm happy I need your services, but maybe, I don't know. But thank you all so much for the work that you do. You guys are great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we have a commissioner on the board.
Oh, we have a commissioner on the board. Oh, who's on the board? Oh, okay. Well, we didn't need to talk about yours. All right, up next is a proclamation proclaiming and designating National Health Center Week, and Commissioner Ballard is going to do that proclamation.
Whereas, for over 45 years, MCR Health has provided high-quality, affordable, comprehensive primary, specialty, and preventive health care to medically underserved communities, delivering value to and significantly impacting the Manatee County healthcare system. Whereas, MCR Health, a critical element of the county's health system, serves all populations, regardless of their income or insurance status, and provides over 369,000 annual medical and behavioral health visits to over 78,000 patients in Manatee County at its 26 locations. Whereas MCR Health works tirelessly to develop service delivery systems to meet the needs of the underserved through new approaches to integrating a wide range of services beyond primary care to provide comprehensive care, allowing each community member it serves to thrive. And whereas MCR Health serves as a beacon of service, strength, and care, offering essential resources and support in the face of disasters and pandemics, and continues to respond quickly and provide care for Manatee County's most vulnerable and underserved communities. And whereas National Health Center Week offers the opportunity to celebrate the legacy of Manatee County's only community health center and its vital role in shaping the past, present, and future of Manatee County's healthcare system. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County, Florida, that August 4th through 10th, 2024 shall be known, designated, and set aside as National Health Center Week, powering communities through caring connections in Manatee County, Florida. And this is adopted with a quorum present and voting this 30th day of July, 2024, and signed by our chair, Michael Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I'm Mary Ruiz. I'm Chair of the Board of MCR Health, and I have so much gratitude for the deep and long-lasting collaboration that MCR Health has had with the county. It goes all the way back to county staff writing the first grant that created this health center. So a great vision there in investing in infrastructure in this community for growth. You are so wise not only to look at infrastructure for roads and utilities, but also infrastructure for health. We have our health, we have everything. We can afford our home and go to work and succeed in school and make it to our first birthday. So I want to thank you for understanding the difficulty of the work that we do and supporting us always in it. I also want to thank our other community partners without which we could not do the job that you look to us to do. And that includes the Manatee County Health Department, also Centerstone, the Behavioral Health Center, and We Care. So we have great assets in this community to deal with the problems that we face, and I feel very confident with your support that we can do so.
Thank you. All right, up next is the proclamation for Habitat for Humanity, and Commissioner Cruz is going to present that proclamation.
I'll do it myself.
No, Habitat's here.
I was looking for Bernie and everyone out here.
Yeah, I figured Habitat would be here for sure.
So I'll do it anyway, and we will deliver it to Habitat for Humanity. Nobody's here. All right. Whereas Manatee County Habitat for Humanity has been a cornerstone in the community, providing affordable homeownership opportunities for low-income families since its founding in August 1994. And whereas Manatee County Habitat for Humanity, through partnerships with homeowners, volunteers, and donors, builds homes and neighborhoods where families in our local communities are offered a better life, where dreams of home ownership can become a reality. And whereas Manatee County Habitat for Humanity's affordable homeownership program features 0% 30-year mortgages, sustainable building practices, and comprehensive home ownership education. And whereas, since its founding, Manatee County Habitat for Humanity has built 155 homes and currently has over 70 future home sites acquired, and is committed to building a minimum of 10 homes annually to serve more families in need. And whereas Manatee County Habitat for Humanity has set an ambitious fundraising goal of $3 million in 30 months and seeks community support through donations and volunteer efforts to build 30 homes in the next 30 months. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County, Florida, that August 1st, 2024 through August 1st, 2025 shall be known, designated, and set aside as Manatee County Habitat for Humanity 30th Anniversary Celebration Year. Adopted with this quorum present and voting this 30th day of July, 2024, and signed by our chairman, Michael Ron. And Bernie and his team, unfortunately, aren't here, but Habitat is a great thing. I work with them. We do a lot at the board with rental properties. We have a lot of incentives to incentivize that, because economically that's really the easiest, lowest hanging fruit for a community to build. However, there's something to be said for home ownership, for being able to build equity, to have a place that you can call your own. And it's very hard to do. We have very few developers and builders working on that side of things, and Habitat is one of them. They do an amazing job. They do it for regular families, they do it for seniors, and they do it specifically for veterans with some of their houses. So I really appreciate them being partners with Manatee County and being here, and I look forward to their next 30 years.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, Habitat for Humanity provides an amazing service, building homes for those that want the American dream of home ownership. I'm excited we have in District 4, we have a Habitat for Humanity community that's going to be built. It's pretty exciting. But one thing, they always need volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering at Habitat and building a house, or just want to get out there and help a family, Habitat's a great opportunity to do that. So thank you, Commissioner Cruz, for that presentation. All right, up next, this is a fun one. Up next is the proclamation for the Parish High School Bulls Girls Softball Day. So, and Commissioner Van Ostenbridge is going to present this.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. The champs are in the house. I hear a lot of hardware
Go
behind
Bulls.
me. This is back-to-back. Just get a few things out of the way first. This is back-to-back state championships for Parish. Very young high school. There are only 2 state championships that they have up to this point, and as I recall, last year there were actually the academic state championship as well, which is like an impossibility to achieve both, that level of greatness at both. So this year they're back. It's becoming a common thing. Hopefully we'll have them every year. It is with great pride and joy that we recognize the remarkable achievement of Community High School girls softball team for winning the Class 5A state championship. And whereas the Bulls captured their second straight state championship in Parish Community High School's history with a dominant 20-8 record. Wow. You guys lost 8?
We did.
That's all right. I'm just teasing.
We'll talk about that.
They started off slow and they came on strong at the end. They had a record 6 shutouts in their final 11 games, outscoring the opposition 102-9 during that span.
Wow.
Yep, not too shabby, huh? In the 5 regional and Final 4 playoff games, Parish Community High outscored its opponents 65-6. And whereas the hard work, dedication, and exceptional skills demonstrated by the players, coaches, and support staff have brought immense pride and joy to our county, and whereas the remarkable teamwork, resilience, and sportsmanship exhibited by the players throughout their journey to the championship have set an inspiring example for our youth. And whereas the coaching staff of Parish Community High School, led by Coach Aaron Spivey, have displayed exceptional leadership, guidance, and commitment in nurturing the potential of our student athletes, thereby molding them into champions. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County that July 30th, 2024 shall be known, designated, and set aside as Parish Community High Bulls Girls Softball Day in Manatee County. Adopted with a quorum present and voting this 30th day of July 2024 and signed by Michael Ron, our chairman. I'll hand this over to Coach Spivey, and after she says a few words, I think the board should either come down or we can all stand up there behind them, one or the other, and get a good group photo.
Love to.
All right, Coach?
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having us back again. I like doing this. I like getting these proclamations. Yes, as you said, we lost 8 games. Well, it brings up a really good point that, we always say throughout the season, or at least I always try to tell them that there's winning and there's learning. And during season, those are just merely practice games to get us ready for postseason. And those 8 games, we considered them learned experiences. We learned a lot about ourselves in those games and what we could really accomplish, and we turned our season around based off of those games. So they were really a vital, important role in our season, whether we like to embrace them or not. I'm very proud of these ladies. Most of them grew up in this county, so the parks and recs in this county is super, super important for the development of our youth. And that's really where, I have great pride in our county for putting in so much effort in our youth so that they are capable of accomplishing their goals and dreams. With my assistant, Allison Yon, who also did a great job with these ladies, I just want you guys all to know that they also were the academic state championship winners again with a team GPA of 3.78. So far, they have committed themselves to the classroom and to their love of softball, and I couldn't be more proud of them and what they were able to accomplish. So thank you for recognizing all their hard work that they've put in, because they really deserve it. So thank you for having us.
Dump over. Commissioner Cruz.
Do I figure out this fancy new microphone? Yeah, congratulations once again. It's great to see you here a second time. And my son's going to be a senior at Parish Community High School next year, so he's pretty much only known a softball team that wins championships 2 of his 3 years. So, he's got 1 year left, so I'm looking forward to seeing you here for a 3rd time to finish out that whole class strong. It's an amazing accomplishment. I mean, Parish is very new, and when we started at Parish, we didn't even have seniors on the football team because we didn't have seniors in the building. And you have all come on and built an amazing program, not just in sports, but academically. Everyone's proud of you in Parish. Everyone's proud of you at this high school. So keep up the great work.
Thanks, sir. Ladies, you guys are real inspirations, really are, to excel at academics and sports. I mean, when's the football team going to step up and get even close to where you guys are at? Come on. But ladies, thank you so much for being out there, your hard work, your dedication. Again, it's inspirational to a lot of us, and just look forward to seeing you again next year. So thank you so much. You guys are great. Commissioner Turner.
Oh, yeah, look at that. It works, huh? Yeah. I think it's an incredible accomplishment. I mean, the state of Florida is one of the most competitive states in the union. I mean, this is amazing. I mean, I'm from Australia. Florida has the same population as Australia. You would have won the Nationals easily. So, I mean, internationally, you guys would be a force to contend with. So, very proud of you guys. It's a great accomplishment.
You'd beat us in rugby.
Yeah, well.
All right, what I think I'm going to do is I'll take a quick recess so we can all get down there and get a picture. Sir? Yeah. Commissioner House.
I just want to make one more comment because Coach Spivey made a good point, bringing up the commitment that the whole board has turned over in just a couple of years, and it's a much younger board of county commissioners than it used to be. And we have made, and I'm proud of us for making a strong commitment to Parks and Recreation. And I think as a lot of us still remember when we played, and a lot of us have kids. A lot of y'all have kids that are playing, and it has been a strong commitment, not just, and this is a perfect timing, I think, not just the commitment to boys sports, but to boys and girls sports in our community. Mayor Brown is back there in the back. He and I went to the opening day of Miss Palmasola softball this year, and we went to the opening day of Little League as well. But it's a commitment to you all, to your sisters, and to your friends and neighbors that at our county leagues and our county parks, girls sports will always be protected by this board. We're not going to ever allow outside influences to come in and redefine to us in Manatee County what girls sports are. Girls sports will always be only for our girls.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir.
What I'm going to do is take a real quick recess. We're going to come down, get our picture taken, and with the champs.
Does Kevin have to stand in the front, though?
Yeah, he'll have to stand in front.
stand in the front.
And so we're going to recess for about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, guys.
Head on up through the double doors.
Probably would have been easier to do that.
to mention that the motion to approve the proclamations was approved 4-0 with Commissioner, 5-0 with Commissioner Bearden absent. So thank you. All right, moving forward. Right now, this is the part of the meeting where we have citizens comment on future agenda items. The time limit is 30 minutes for this, so we will be going to that. I think we had an issue. Did we fix the issue with the sign-in or no? Okay. All right, so we don't have, all right, so what I'm going to ask to do is if you want to speak, please come forward, state your name, your county of residence. Unfortunately, we don't have the speaker list available because I guess the system had, after 5 weeks, had not worked well. So if you'd like to come forward, please state your name, county residence. Good morning, Pat. How are you this morning?
Pat Simmons, Manatee County. I want to throw out I want to throw out an idea for when the convention center and hotel open in Palmetto. I would love to see a 1 or 2 day symposium, forum, whatever name we give it, strictly for people with disabilities. One, because we need people with disabilities to know that they are included in this county. We need to educate not only all of you, the medical profession, law enforcement, but also the general public. Because when people hear the word disabled or handicapped, their mind automatically goes to a person in a wheelchair. But the ADA recognizes over 100 different disabilities. So it's never been done from the research that I've done, that's never been done in this county, and I don't think it's ever been done in the state of Florida. So we could really make this and become the cutting edge. We could have vendors, people that are doing medical research, because I had a trip to the emergency room on 14th Street, and the doctor sent me home, said, I have no idea how to treat you. So we need to educate the medical profession. So please keep that in mind for when that opens. I think we could make it a big success, and I'm willing to work on a planning committee. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Pat, for the advocacy you do for disabled folks in Manatee County. All right, anyone up next? Please state your name, county residence, and you have 3 minutes, and this is on future agenda items.
Good morning. My name is Anna Campagna, a resident of Manatee County and a citizen of these United States. I come before you regarding a matter of great concern to me. You, the commissioners, decided unilaterally to create an ostentatious exhibit in the library I frequent. It promotes your partiality in a divisive international issue in the headlines worldwide and before the International Criminal Court. What faction compelled you to take a stand on a crisis that has no bearing on Manatee County? Are you pandering to a certain segment of your constituency? You did not canvass every resident, including me, before setting up the exhibit. A commissioner told me the response to this misguided display has been positive. His statement is irrelevant. The display only gives you, the commissioners, a figurative and gratuitous pat on the back from those who agree. The commissioners are elected to serve all the residents. What is the purpose of the display, and what bearing does it have on the well-being of those residents? I put up one sheet of paper expressing the opposing stance next to their exhibit. Mine was taken down. I have freedom of speech under the First Amendment. It's easy for a governing body to suppress this freedom. Do only you have the right to publicize an opinion, but I, a citizen, do not? If you felt a need to weigh in on a volatile international issue unrelated to the welfare of county residents, it was incumbent upon you to be objective and erect two displays, conveying a pro and con position. Of course, you have no such mandate. Therefore, the only option is no display, especially not one that offends even one resident, and I am offended. You serve us, we the people, all the people. Erecting your display does not serve us, we the people. Every commissioner has the right to express an opinion in the privacy of their own home, and, if they have one, in their own private bathroom on the 9th floor, but not in our public buildings. To paraphrase President Ronald Reagan, commissioners, tear down this display. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, up next, please come forward, state your name, county resident, and you have 3 minutes.
Joyce Jordan, Manatee County, and I'm here today to reinforce why I have been here for the last year and a half. The dogs at the shelter are still suffering. They have not been moved to Bishop. You promised us it was going to be done by spring, and it hasn't been done. Now, the shelter is short-staffed. Some dogs are only getting out 1 time a day. That is inhumane. And what is happening? Nothing, because the management there still stinks. They replaced the manager, and she's still terrible. You need to do something. And I want to remind you, Election Day is coming. And I hope to see a different board up here when I come back, except for you, Cruz, because you were the only one that supported us when we were down. And we got fired on July 3rd. It's been over a year now. And you know why she did that? 5 o'clock on July 3rd, because July 4th was a holiday. And nobody could do anything about it. Cruz tried. He wrote to us and spoke to us, but nobody could do a thing because the county was closed. Well, yes, the county was closed, but we were supposed to be walking those poor dogs because there aren't that much staff there on holidays. You do not think about the people or the animals at all. Also, I want to know why we can't get advisory boards back. We had an advisory board for the animals, and it's just vanished because you won't listen to them. What good is an advisory board if the board does whatever they want, whenever they want? And all the problems relate to you, Charlie, because you are the administrator. And no one in this county can understand why we have to put up with so much corruption in this county. I know I can't. And another thing, Employee of the Month, how many times have I been here? I have never seen anyone from the shelter. We have some of the best employees in the world. They work hard, they take care of those animals, and have they ever gotten any recognition? No. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Would anyone else like to come up and give public comment on a future agenda item? Mr. Meehan, please state your name, county residence, and you have 3 minutes. You know the rules.
Bring that up. Mike Mee in Manatee County. I've spoken to the commission many times on the subject of finance. I think this is the 7th year I've addressed you on the topic, as opposed to the citizens of Manatee County who have experienced a 20% increase in their cost of living over the last 3 years, and let's just say roughly about a 100% increase in their property insurance. The county itself is doing very well. The year-to-date surplus through May was $447 million, which is the highest surplus that I have ever seen for this particular time period. Your total cash is at $2.4 billion, an astounding figure in relation to how much you're actually spending. And your unrestricted cash, which can be used for any county purpose, is at $825.7 million versus $397 million in 2017. So my basic question is, if the unrestricted cash is being held for current and future capital expenditures, then why is it up 108% since 2017? And the answer is unrealistic budgeted CapEx is not meeting actual CapEx due to manpower, project management, and material logistics. And in a nutshell, you're not spending all the money that's coming in, and that's why these balances are growing exponentially every year. Florida statute allows you to earmark 30% of your expenditure for reserves, so that's roughly about $300 million. So comparing that to your unrestricted cash, you're $525 million above what Florida statute allows you to hold. I have a very simple solution to be easy to implement, and that's to offer a $100 million property tax credit for 2024 and years beyond to bring reserves down to Florida statute. This immediate cut of 25% in property taxes will help Manatee County homeowners cope with a 20% increase in their cost of living over the last 3 years. And for me personally, a 180% increase in homeowners insurance since 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to come up and give public comment on future agenda item? You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and your
Hi,
county
Carol
residence.
Feltz, Mayaca City. What I did on my summer vacation, I was trying to get to a lot of the things where the county has been providing or trying to provide the citizens certain tools and information. And I'd just like to kind of report back from that point of view on how effective I felt some of these things were and maybe what we could do to make them more effective. We had a event at Lakewood Ranch Library. Mr. Turner was there. I think that was called our Neighborhood Summit. It was at Lakewood Ranch Library. I tried to encourage people to go, but it was kind of an inopportune time. I did not see a repeat of those neighborhood summits in every other district in our county. However, we had the All Things Parish, which I believe everyone attended to that. And I have to say our county staff at that event did an amazing job. But they really took the floor and did an amazing job with that. I also attended the emergency management. They had 2 events for emergency management. And that's an issue I think that we need to look at because depending on what news source you listen to, we are looking at some pending storms. One of the things that we didn't get to talk too much about in the neighborhood summit, in the All Things Parish, in the emergency management thing, and what I try and do is get our citizens to use the tools that they are given to get their information together and things like that. And it's a little unwieldy, to tell you the truth. The average citizen doesn't want to click more than 2 times to find out information. I am very excited that we're starting our Citizens Academy in, a week or 2? I think that's going to help a lot. I think navigating through our website and, we need to start teaching people to fish a little bit more. You can't just solve everything with 2 clicks. And, if I can't find it in 2 clicks, then I'm going to complain about it. But we've got to make it easier for them to get the information that they need. I think one thing that's very important at the point that we're at right now, and after some discussion with Jody Fisk and other people, is our preparation for our hurricane season. Now, anybody that knows me knows that it's my favorite time of year. Just like people celebrate snowfalls up north, I think hurricane season is kind of God's way of flushing our toilet and testing us to whether we could really survive in this environment. And I'd like to see us work a little bit harder on getting those CERT teams involved. They're a very important component, and that's something that I hope each one of our commissioners within their district, for those of us who have a commissioner in their district, to get to work on that really soon.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, ma'am. Does anyone else like to come up and give public comment on a future agenda item? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close public comment. Are there any commissioner responses to public comment? No? All right, thank you. All right, moving on next. We're going to move into, are there any, the consent agenda. Is there any citizen comment on any consent agenda item only?
Well, we haven't talked about whether or not to pull consent.
Yeah, is there any items that need to be pulled from consent?
Yeah, the only two I want to mention, I'm going to pull 50 just because we got we got emails. Yeah, because we got emails on it, so people should deserve to speak on it. And I'm not going to pull it. I just want to point out, because it's a long time coming. Number 39 is Foundation for Dreams, and we spent a lot of time working to get them the new facility out on Rise. So I'm just thankful it's here. And I'm not going to pull it. I just want to acknowledge, because sometimes we have good news stuff on this consent, and it just gets brushed under the carpet. But congratulations, I'm really looking forward to you all moving there with Dream Oaks, and looking forward to coming to see it after all the renovations are made.
And you're going to pull 50?
Correct.
All right, thank you. All right. Are there any citizens' comments on any consent agenda item only? Yes, ma'am, please come forward and state your name. You have 3 minutes.
Not 50.
Not on 50, though. You can speak on any consent agenda item, but not on item number 50.
Oh, that's what I was going to talk on.
Well, we're going to come back to that. That's why Commissioner Cruz pulled it. Thank you, ma'am. You're all right. You're good. Don't worry. All right.
Voting on consent now?
Yeah, we're going to vote on, go ahead and, let me get the consent, let me get there. This computer stuff, after being gone for 5 weeks. Okay. Looking for a motion to approve consent. Motion is made by Commissioner Ballard, second by Commissioner Van Osterbridge on all consent items except number 50. If you please cast your votes now. The motion carries with Commissioner Bearden being absent. All right. Now, on item 50, Commissioner Cruz. Item 50.
Yeah, there's two reasons I pulled it. One, because I spoke at length about it on my briefing. But second, this is just in general. Consent's supposed to be non-controversial, administrative things. I think just a general rule of thumb is if multiple people are emailing us and calling us and texting us, then it's not as non-controversial and administrative as we made it out to be when we put it on the consent. And it should be something we consider moving to presentation upon request, similar to what we do at land use. So this is just the decency of people wanted to talk about it, so I'm letting them. But I did have a couple of questions in my briefing. I'm not sure if we got the answers to it or if this is a future discussion with staff, but I've asked in the past. When this first came up a year ago, I pulled it for the very first time of interlocal, asking how much this is going to cost, because that's relevant to our discussion. And I was told $6,000, and the city of Bradenton was going to handle all the wells, all the irrigation, they were going to do all this stuff. I've asked since then twice how much it actually costs, and I've never gotten an answer. I got a chuckle once, but I never got an answer. I still don't know how much this is costing, but now we have a proof of concept. I think it would be a good idea to look back and say, now that we've done this, here's how much it's actually costing. So this board can make a relative decision based upon fact, not assumption. So one, I'm curious what it's actually costing. Two, I asked how the city of Bradenton was doing with their promised irrigation for this partnership, and I was told they're not doing the irrigation. And now I see county trucks wrapped with water stuff doing it ourselves. So what is the interlocal partnership if we're just taking it over in its entirety, other than the one FT? I get that there's one FT. So I'm just curious what this process is. And the third question I had was just, why are we rushing this to this meeting? Because I was told this isn't even final yet, that the mayor is going to meet with staff and negotiate the plans for this, but we're being asked to approve it before the negotiation occurs. And obviously, City of Bradenton was even a little questionable because it was a 3-2 vote. It wasn't unanimous. So why aren't we, and I asked in my briefing, can we just table this until that meeting happens so we can have a better handle on A, how much it's going to cost, and B, what work is going to be done so we can make an informed decision. So I'm not sure why we're not tabling this. Can you tell us the update on whether or not, like when that meeting is going to take place, what we're going to anticipate, and what these actual costs are?
Sure. Chairman, Commissioners, County Administrator, County Attorney, Carmine D'Amelio, Deputy Director of Property Management. To get to, it was about a year ago, we talked about the medians on Manatee Avenue, and I said on average we're about $6,000 to create per median. It's pretty much factual. We range from $6,000 to $8,000 per median, a total of $37,000 to do all 5 medians on Manatee Avenue. We did not go with the well system. Part of that agreement was for the city to contribute for the well systems, and after further review and research and permitting, it was going to be in excess of $250,000 to install wells. So what we did, we installed traditional irrigation systems, and we tap into a water truck, and that's how we irrigate those at a minimal cost.
And this goes more to Charlie. Is there a reason this is being rushed in 1 week after City of Bradenton approved prior to the meeting that I'm guessing you and staff are having with Mayor Brown, so we can have a better handle on exactly what work is going to be done that we're approving through this interlocal?
Yeah, I don't know if the word rushed, like Carmine just alluded to, it's been a year in the process. I think this is our 3rd interlocal, taking over the first 5 meetings. Then we did the interlocal with the Palmasola Causeway. This is, I believe, the final interlocal agreement. It was just a process that we're going through, and it landed today after the City of Bradenton approved it. It's the process, sir. Also, I just want to remind Carmine to reiterate that we are working with the city to be reimbursed for the trees through their tree trust fund.
Correct.
You good?
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem making Manatee County look better. I've always said I don't want to be the low-cost provider. I think the medians look beautiful. I mean, is it the right vegetation? I don't know. You got to talk to the master gardener class from 30 minutes ago to answer that question, or talk to Ingrid, and people are going to come up with their opinions on it. I never claimed to be a botanist by any stretch. But I just like having information and facts, and I hear conflicting things from one side and another side about what the right thing is to do, so I just wanted to get the opinion of staff and the cost, which you told me, which is great. If it really was $6,000, it's awesome. I had no frame of reference on whether or not we were accurate or not, and it sounds like we are, so. But I just wanted, we got multiple emails and comments on this, so I just wanted to give the public an opportunity to have their say in it.
And one more comment. This is a 3-party agreement. FDOT's been involved from the get-go. They oversee all the permits, and they give recommendations as far as the wells, the irrigation, and the trees.
Yes, so the third part would be to take this agreement and then submit for permits through FDOT. They would be the ultimate in approving the beautification of those medians.
All right.
Yeah, I've been by some intersections that FDOT controls by our interstate. I'm not exactly like jumping up and down that they're the be-all, end-all decision.
Understood. All right, thank you, Carmine. County Administrator, anything else? All right, thank you.
No, sir, thank you.
We're going to call for public comment, and if you'd like to come forward and have public comment on item 50, please state your name, county residence, and you have 3 minutes.
And I have a document to show you over here. I'm Ingrid McClellan, resident of Manatee County, and good morning, Chairman Ron and Honorable County Commissioners. I was here last month. I'm Vice Chairperson of the Palmasola Scenic Highway Corridor Management Entity approved by FDOT to be so and to oversee its action plan and corridor management plan. This is on Palmasola Scenic Highway.
We commend Manatee County for its median beautification program. However, item 50, this interlocal agreement, if approved, will be losing 9 native live oaks, 6, and 9 sable palms, which are considered significant in Bradenton's land use regulations. So we do request that it be tabled until the mayor talks with the Bradenton Tree and Land Preservation Board at their next meeting, because they did submit a letter. I believe Quintana gave you the packet, and it includes their letter that was opposing the removal of the existing trees. And the mayor was going to work with them. That was the stipulation when this was approved last week. Also, the county's tree advisory board agrees with the Tree and Land Preservation Board that keep the existing trees and work with the Palma Solar Scenic Highway Committee. And if you look at the survey, we did say at the last meeting we would do the survey with all the neighborhoods. 66% of the residents picked 1, existing, 2, existing with landscaping underneath it, like this is 14th Street West. And only 14% chose 3, take it all out and do it all over like you did the other medians on Manatee Avenue. And then last, this is your 4th interlocal agreement with Bradenton. You will inherit 2 more medians, making it 11, and Palma Solar Causeway. And Mayor Brown told me that it costs $40,000 to relocate the Black Olive Shady Ladies to G.T. Bray, and Carmine D'Amelio told me that only 40 to 50% of them survived. So that's tree relocation plus $6,000 per median to install what was in there in the irrigation. So I have letters with, you have the final. This is everybody in last night. 3 letters, and on the other side, people's comments on what they put on their various surveys that they submitted. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any other public comment regarding item 50? Seeing none, I'll close public comment and ask for a motion. Okay. All right, the motion's been approved or been moved by Commissioner Van Ossenbridge, second by Commissioner Turner on item number 50 on consent. If anyone would please cast their votes now. And the item carries 4-1 with Commissioner Bearden being absent and Commissioner Cruz abstaining.
And just to,
sorry.
No, I voted no, but just to clarify, it's because I think it should be tabled until that discussion's had. If that discussion was had and it clarified it, I don't have a fundamental problem. I just think we're being premature and jumping the gun on this. That's my no vote.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. All right, that ends consent. Now we're going to move on to advertised public hearings. And first up is Community and Veteran Services. Item 74, acceptance of determination of the Children's Services Advisory Board not to fund Rubonia Youth Program Emergency Funding Request, submitted by Genesis Health. So who's going to present? Who's presenting for
Good morning.
CVS?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm Christy Hagen. I'm Children's Services Coordinator. And this item is to share with you the determination of the CSAB to not fund the emergency request for Genesis Health for programming in Rubonia for this summer into the school year. The youth program that was there previously closed, and they have not had any youth programming there since that time. So this is your opportunity to look it over, either agree and approve the non-funding or make your consideration. I do have Mr. McLeod here from Genesis to answer questions if you have them.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Chairman, I'm trying to push my button.
Yeah, I know
but
it's
not
difficult today.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, you want to speak after he gets? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners, the Chairman, and Mr. Administrator. I'm James McLeod. I'm with Genesis Health Service. I'm President, CEO. And I first became aware of the situation in Rubonia in terms of youth programming not being available in January of this year. And I made referrals to county staff for likely agencies to fill the gap for that programming. And I found out in March of this year that no agency was able to put a program together there for the young people. It was at that time I inquired of staff what would be a process in terms of getting county funding through the Children's Services Board. And they did tell me that even though the deadline has passed for application, there was a process for emergency funding. And because this was considered an emergency by my agency, here it was March, end of school year was May 29th. You got approximately 60 days to put together a program for the summer at least. And I put in an emergency application. It sort of went back and forth with the Children's Services Board. And in May, which was the last opportunity to try to acquire funding to put a program together, the Children's Services Board had additional questions. And my board made a decision that we would go into our reserves. We're 30 years old this year, our agency. And for the first time in 30 years, we actually had some reserves. So we went into those reserves and we started programming in Robonia on June 3rd. On June approximately 19th, I went back before the Children's Services Board to again try to apply for emergency funding because as of July, the first week in July, our emergency funds would be exhausted and we needed help to continue through the summer. We were denied on a 3-4 vote, 3 for us, 4 against us to not fund the program. At that time, we applied to a church. The church helped us with about $4,000 to continue the program in July. Another church donated a van for the program for transportation, and we are currently still operating the program with those limited resources. This summer's program saw 36 children sign up within a week in late May to say they will attend the program. The highest census we had on any day was 42 children. And we were quite interested in helping because of the flooding in Robonia. We have a mental health component to our programming, and we consider that a very traumatic experience. It's happened repeatedly. The children still have to go to school. They still have to have respite. So we are quite passionate about the children in Robonia receiving some sort of programming. And this summer, the 2 greatest things that happened for these kids to date has been the sheriff's fishing tournament. They went on that. They actually caught fish, some of them. The other thing was Manatee County Public Works Department has a Stop the Bleed program. We found out that in most natural disasters, people don't die from the disaster, they die from bleeding to death. So the older children were enrolled in the Stop the Bleed program. And I just would say that any consideration you would give to help the kids in Robonia continue the summer program, we have another 2 or 3 weeks. We really be appreciative of any support you can give us.
All right, thanks, sir. Commissioner Van Ossum, Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to start off by thanking Genesis. I did what I could, from my position behind the scenes to try to help you with the Children Advisory Board. We came up 1 short on the vote, and sort of communicating back and forth to you via what I call the mayor of Robonia, Lewis. But communicating back and forth, and we did set you up with CVS department as well to try to help you guys out. I told Lewis, I said, don't panic. I said, ultimately, this is coming before the board still, and I felt like we had another shot at getting it funded, and we do, so here we are. I want to thank you because you stepped up and went into your own pockets, and your organization went into their reserves, reached out to folks around the community. Typically, it's religious groups that tend to help in these situations, and they did. And I think that the board should consider that. They should consider the fact that you have been with no guarantee whatsoever that you would be reimbursed for this. You stepped up and threw a summer camp together for the kids in that community, sort of at the last minute. One of the comments, and his numbers are going to be down because it was a last minute thing where people threw it together, and a lot of folks made other arrangements. One of the sort of the knocks that they threw against your group was that there weren't enough, the population of youth in Rabonia itself wasn't high enough to support the organization, to support a program. However, Rabonia, even when folks move out of Rabonia, they're still from Rabonia, right? And they still have that community pride and that community heritage, and they still show up at the community center, and they still show up at events. And my point is that while a lot of kids may not live in Rabonia, their families are still bringing them to the community center because their cousins are there and all their other family members are there, and they want them to go to summer camp together. And so there is an influx of kids youth who come in to the community center in the summertime to participate in those programs. And I have a lot of pride in Rabonia. Rabonia is in my district. I fought hard to get it drawn into the district, and I take a lot. I'm the only one up here who's born and raised here, and Rabonia has been there for generations, like 4 generations, 5 generations, going back, and it's where a lot of people of color were displaced way back in the day, and it's sort of wasn't the greatest piece of land that y'all were forced onto, but it's home, and you take pride in your home right away. And we just had a natural disaster where Rabonia was hit the hardest of any place in the entire county. And Idalia is not like that. That storm is not on everybody's mind as being this terrible storm for Manatee County, but it was for Rabonia. It really was. And the county has put a lot of effort into Rabonia, and I don't want to see this slip by the wayside, because a community center often is what holds a community together. And so I'm really pleading to my fellow commissioners. I have a motion prepared, and I see there's another commissioner on the board, so I'll wait. But I do have a motion that I've written, but I'm pleading with my fellow commissioners to fund this organization and to continue to support Rabonia. They're not just standing here with their hand out. They have found a way to fund it up to this point on their own with no guarantee of reimbursement, and the community has come together with religious organizations to find ways to make everything work, and that's great. And I think it shows the sense of community pride and that they have some sweat equity and some skin in the game in this as well. So that's my plea. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Cruz.
I'll be quick because that was very well stated. We talked about this in my briefing as well. I thank you for what you've done to date right here. This needs to be funded. We need to keep moving on with the programs out there, Rabonia. So, you lost the funding on a 4-3 vote on a short board. I mean, we trust our advisory boards, but when you have 7 people show up and barely make quorum and you lose by 1 vote, that's unfortunate, and that's why people up here have the opportunity to take that as guidance, but not, we can make modifications, and I really hope we do, and I'm pretty confident I think we will. So thank you for everything you've done, and you have my full support to fund this.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Van Ostenbridge.
All right, Mr. Chair, I'll just say one last thing. It's people like you that literally make this town go round. Like, nobody knows the things you do. You step up. You don't. I'm giving you credit right now, but you didn't do it for the credit. You didn't know you'd get any. It's folks like you that literally make this county work. So I make a motion, Mr. Chair. I move to recommend FY24 Children's Services funding in the amount of $68,420 to Genesis Health Services for the Rabonia Youth Program to be funded June 30th, 2024 through September 30th, 2024.
Second. All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Van Ostenbridge to approve the funding for Genesis, and a second by Commissioner Cruz. If everyone would cast their votes now. And the motion carries 5-0 with Commissioner Bearden being absent. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Cruz did.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, you guys.
Thank you for everything you do out there in Rabonia. Thank you. All right. Up next, item 75, adoption of resolution R24-145. Who's presenting? Oh, here they come. The team.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, County Commissioners, Mr. Bishop, Ms. D'Agostino. I'm Julia Vieira with Community Development. I have our consultant here, Amanda Warner. We are here to fulfill the final citizen input requirement to adopt our New Year's annual action plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Again, my name is Amanda Warner. I'm a planner with Wade Trim, consultant for Manatee County on this project. So we are presenting to you several documents today. The first is the 2024-2025 Annual Action Plan. The second is a group of substantial amendments, and these would be substantial amendments to the 2019, 2021, and 2022 Annual Action Plans. These documents are required for submittal to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to continue these grants that the county receives. So the grants that are covered by these programs are the Community Development Block Grant. You may have heard this referred to as CDBG, a Home Investment Partnerships Program, HOME, and then Emergency Solutions Grant, or ESG. So the 2024-2025 Annual Action Plan covers program year 2024, and that starts on October 1, 2024, and ends on September 30th, 2025. It identifies projects to be funded during that program year, and the projects in the plan are selected based on funding eligibility and compatibility with the 5-year goals and priority needs identified in the 2023-2027 consolidated plan. So for fiscal year 2024-2025, the county received or is expected to receive an allocation of $1,795,567. For Home Investment Partnerships Program, the fiscal year 2024-2025 allocation is expected to be $548,806.01. Yes, 1 cent on that one. Program income is expected to be $423,222, and prior year resources, those are carryover funds from prior years. That's $732,852. So that's the Home Investment Partnerships Program expected funding for that fiscal year. The Emergency Solutions Grant, or ESG, the expected funding is $162,357. And then other sources that are covered in the substantial amendments before you are the CARES Act, CDBG CV funding, and American Rescue Plan Home ARP. So on June 11th, you approved a number of projects for inclusion in the 2024-2025 action plan, and that was based on the anticipated resources. So those projects included Gulf Coast Legal Services, AM and FM Enterprises, Aileen's Loving Care, Meals on Wheels, Turning Points Project Smile, Feeding Tampa Bay, Manatee Children's Services, Foster Children's Shelter, Boys Group Home, Centerstone, the Samoset Community Resource Center rehabilitation, several public facility and infrastructure improvements, code enforcement, and planning and administration. And I have a note on this slide that in the plan, county staff has included several contingency projects just in case any of those projects fall out of play, particularly for the public facility and infrastructure improvements. Those are contingency projects in case additional funding is available or those projects that are cited do not materialize. Also on June 11th, regarding the home funding, the projected home funding, several projects were considered, and those were the Bright Community Trust, affordable housing for rental, Manatee County Habitat for Humanity, Kings Cross Place, that's affordable housing for home ownership, Turning Points Rental Assistance, tenant-based rental assistance, Jewish Family and Children's Services of the Suncoast Building Strong Families Rental Assistance. Again, that's tenant-based rental assistance, and then planning administration under that home projected funding. And then also on June 11th for ESG, that's the Emergency Solutions Grant, there's a sub-award to Suncoast Partnership to End Homelessness, and that covers homeless activities. So there's a list of activities there cited that could be funded with that, and then the planning administration of those Emergency Solutions Grants. So all of these planned projects and the related projected funding are outlined in the actual fiscal year 2024-2025 Annual Action Plan that you have before you today. In addition to this coming year, 2024-2025 Annual Action Plan, we're presenting several substantial amendments to previous plans. This is to reallocate funding to different projects. So for 2019-2020, the Annual Action Plan for that year, we're proposing to create 2 new activities with available CDBG CV funding. Those are Turning Points, the CDBG CV Non-Congregate Shelter Project, and the St. Vincent de Paul Cares Safer Emergency Housing Alternatives. For the 2021-2022 Annual Action Plan, be creating one new activity with available home funding. That would be the Manatee County Habitat for Humanity Kings Cross Place construction. There's a CHODO set aside for this, and that would be the funding put towards that. And then the 2022-2023 Annual Action Plan, proposing to cancel the previous activity and transfer home funding. So it would cancel the former housing rehabilitation and replacement activity and transfer funding to Bright Community Trust for the 9th Street Apartments construction project, and that would be affordable housing for rental. So the citizen participation process leading up to this point, county staff conducted a public hearing on February 29th, and that was in conjunction with a grant workshop where potential applicants could come and get information about these grant programs and better understanding the process for how to apply for these grants. A grant application period was held in March, so that was over the duration of the entire month of March. And then on June 11th, as I mentioned, you met to consider potential projects for use of this funding. And then a 30-day public comment period was held in July, during the month of July. So today we are at our second public hearing for this plan and the substantial amendments, asking for your approval today, July 30th. Ultimately, we need to submit these documents to HUD, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, by August 16th. That is the final federal deadline for submission of these documents. So today we are, as I mentioned, holding a public hearing for residents and for you to provide comments and answer questions regarding the annual action plan. We're asking for adoption of the 2024-2025 annual action plan and authorizing its submittal to HUD. Also adopting the substantial amendments as presented to the annual action plans for program years 2019, 2021, and 2022, and authorizing their submittal to HUD, and then authorizing execution of any documents necessary to implement those annual action plans, including any certifications required by HUD. And with that, Julie and I are available to answer any questions that you have about these documents.
Are there any questions from the board? Seeing no one on the board, is there anyone like to come up and give public comment regarding this item? Seeing no public comment, I will go to request, see if there's anybody want to make a motion. Moved by Commissioner Turner, seconded by Commissioner Van Ossenbridge. If everyone would cast their votes now. And the motion carries 5-0 with Commissioner Bearden absent. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Up next. You want to take a quick break? What time? Oh, yeah. We're going to take about a quick 10-minute break and give everyone a minute to stand up, stretch your legs. Thank you. And do what they need to do. So we are in recess till 10:45. If everyone could please quiet down, we appreciate it. All right, we're moving on with the agenda. We're still under presentation upon request. Up next is Convention and Visitors Bureau. I'm sure we want a presentation on this item, and Elliot's right up front. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Elliot Felchoni, your Tourism Director for Manatee County. Welcome back from recess. With success, we're presented with opportunities. And in February, the Department of Revenue certified that Manatee County did meet the criteria for the Board of County Commissioners to consider putting on the November ballot an additional 1% tourism tax, short-term rental tax. That criteria is collecting north of $30 million in tourism tax proceeds and over $600 million in direct expenditures, short-term rental. So we met that. Let me just take a step back here and preface the value of the tourism tax for the consumer consumption. Just a few things. Number one, and Charlie Hunsiger just left, beach renourishment. There he is. 1% out of the 5 that's currently collected renourishes our beaches. So it not only appeals to the tourists, but the residents that live here as well. The piers, the city pier on Anna Maria Island, the historic Bridge Street Pier, most of it paid by the tourism tax. The convention center. The hotel just opened last week. Convention center is in full-blown capital improvements, all paid by the tourism tax. Grants given to the Bishop Museum, the Manatee Arts Center that's being built currently, Premier Sports Campus, that brings $40 million annually to the local economy. The Florida Railroad Museum out in Parrish, the Manatee Performing Arts Center, the water ferry operation as well, to name a few. So I've been known to say that any good partnership that relates to tourism, if we can build assets that not only appeal to tourists, but benefit the residents that live here at no cost to the residents, that's a pretty good deal. And I call that enhancing the quality of life for the residents that live here. So with that, and as mentioned, February 29th, 2024, the Department of Revenue confirmed in writing that Manatee County did meet the criteria, and we are now deemed as a high-impact tourism county, therefore eligible to levy an additional 1% tourism tax, but requires voter authorization by referendum at the November 5th general election. That law changed in 2023. Manatee County first levied a tourism tax all the way back in 1980, and from that point moving forward, the board was allowed to approve it supermajority approval. The law changed in 2023. Don't know why. Let's look forward. Let's not look back. Let's control the controllables. So today, June 10th, our Tourist Development Council chairman at the TDC meeting, the TDC is bringing to you a unanimous recommendation to put this on the November ballot for November 5th. We would have to file with the Supervisor of Elections by August 19th. That's why we're here today. Tourism brings over $2 billion to our local economy a year. That includes $30 million in tourism tax collections and over $80 million in sales tax generation. Many would say that we as residents do not pay income tax because of the #1 industry, tourism in Florida. With that, Mr. Chair, I am seeking direction on whether the board wants to put it on the November 5th general election ballot. I stand here to answer any questions.
Thanks, sir. Quick question. This is not a tax that's being put on citizens. It's a tax on the tourism that comes into Manatee County.
Thank you for that clarification. So it is a tax on a short-term rental only 6 months or less short-term rental, hotel, motel. There are people that rent their single-family homes, condos, duplexes, triplexes, and what you have is your fee for your hotel. You have a sales tax added. You have a tourism tax added. So in short, This is not a tax to the residents of Manatee County if you put it on the ballot and if it is voted in by the Manatee County residents. If it is voted in by the Manatee County residents November 5th, the tax collector would need 90 days to get notice out to set up the system to add that tax. That tax annually is going to be projected to be, let's just call it right around $8 million more additional a year.
Okay. And as you stated, this tax is a direct benefit to the citizens of Manatee County, but not on the citizens of Manatee County.
That is correct. And once again, tourism brings north of $2 billion to the local economy. That helps us sustain our businesses, that enhance the quality of life for the residents that live here. As your tourism director, I'm not one to try to strive for tourism records every year. This is not a tax that we're going to use to market the destination harder. I'm a less is more guy, moderate visitation coming in. You had 3.8 million visitors come to the Bradenton area last year, and you know, we look for moderate growth, but this would not be a tax that we would use to market the destination harder.
All right, thank you, sir. What we'll do before we move to a motion, is there anyone in the public like to come give public comment regarding item 76? Yes, sir, you got to come forward. You have to come forward and state your name, county residence, and you have 3 minutes.
I just had a question for this gentleman for the proposal. My name is Louis Daniel. I live here in Manatee County, here in Bradenton. As a citizen here and as an owner here, if I temporarily, for some reason, need to stay in one of these facilities that charges this tourism tax, will I be taxed if I need to stay? Let's say my home's being repaired, hurricane came by, something happened. I need to stay in a hotel for a couple of weeks. Am I going to be taxed?
Yes, sir, because you're using that facility, and that facility is the one that creates the tax on that. So, yes, sir. Elliot, was that stated pretty well?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, seeing no one else wants to come forward, close public comment. We have a motion on the board by Commissioner Turner, seconded by Commissioner Cruz. If everyone will please cast their votes now. And the motion carries 4-1 with Commissioner Van Ostenbridge voting no and Commissioner Bearden not here. Commissioner Van Ostenbridge, would you opine, or are you good?
When I first ran for office, I vowed that I would never vote to raise taxes, and I never have.
Right.
And I never will.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. All right. Moving forward to item 77. Would anyone like a presentation on item 77? Okay. No, look, no one wants a presentation. I'm looking if there's any public comment regarding item 77. Seeing no public comment, I'll close public comment. Looking for a motion on 77. All right, motion moved by Commissioner Turner, seconded by Commissioner Ballard. All those in favor, please cast your votes now. And the motion carries 5-0 with Commissioner Bearden absent. All right, now we're moving into the regular part of our scheduled meeting. And Madam Attorney, County Attorney, you're up.
There we go.
There you go. You got to press it down hard.
There we
They're
go.
new. They're new microphones.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, members of the board, County Administrator. What we've brought before you today is adoption of Resolution R-24-089, which would amend Resolution R-23-057. Back in February of this year, this board passed a motion asking for the county attorney's office to amend this resolution to add a fifth member to the county's investment advisory committee and to amend the policy accordingly. And so the county attorney's office has engaged in that effort and brought back this resolution for you for approval.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, we have a speaker on the board, a Louis Daniel. And Louis ran out of time. All right, so looking for any other public comment regarding item 78? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Looking for a motion, moved by Commissioner Ballard, second by Commissioner Turner. Everyone will cast their votes now. And the motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Madam Attorney. Community and Veteran Services, you're back up.
Good morning, Commissioners, County Attorney, County Administrator Bishop. Renice Remy here from Community and Veteran Services Department, here to request your approval of our adult human services investments. I'll show you our chart. I have a presentation if you want one, but other than that, just requesting you to approve our current investments.
All right.
Sir?
Okay. Are you good with, anybody
Yes,
good
sir.
on a presentation?
We had a detailed debrief, so.
Yeah, we were pretty briefed on this. So what I'd like to do is open up item number 79 to public comment. Does anyone like to come forward and give public comment on item number 79? Yes, ma'am, you have, state your name, county residence, and you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Kendra Simpkins, and I'm a Sarasota County resident, but I do a lot of work in Manatee County. I'm the founder and CEO of Operation Warrior Resolution. As a U.S. Army veteran and a licensed clinical social worker, I know veterans and mental health. And we are the leading provider outside of the VA of mental health for Manatee County residents. And I first want to thank you because we have been receiving mental health support through Health and Human Services. And it's caused an impact significantly in Manatee County. And one of those veterans that the funding impacted is a veteran named Paul, who's a Marine Corps veteran and a combat veteran and suffering from an extreme amount of trauma, came to our organization with suicidal ideations. On a Friday morning, he called us, and within an hour, he was sitting in front of one of our therapists. He was transferred to a more appropriate therapist by Monday morning, and Tuesday he was back in our office getting more therapy. He's been seeing our therapist on a regular basis and getting support, and he's starting to feel the positive effects of therapy and no longer has suicidal ideations. And this is because of Operation Warrior Resolution. This Manatee County veteran didn't put a burden on the system of having to go through a Baker Act and the high costs of that, because Operation Warrior Resolution was there. And I wanted to come to you today because despite this life-changing work that we're doing for veterans, we are recommended to receive 0 funding this year. And I wanted to express to you what we're doing that doesn't necessarily get reported through the grant reports. And this is what we're doing on a daily basis. Commissioner Cruz had the opportunity to come out to one of our locations in West Bradenton where we do overnight clinical retreats. But that's just a small portion of what we do. What we're doing on a daily basis is saving veterans' lives like Paul. And this is what the county doesn't see on the back end. And I wanted to express to you, thank you for what you've done for us for the last year. And I hope that you continue to allow us to do this for this next year. 20% of those that we serve are Manatee County veterans, their spouses, and their children. So we don't just serve the veterans, but also their family members as well who desperately need the support. I'm asking you to reconsider our funding, and please allow us to continue doing this important work in Manatee County.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your service, too.
Appreciate that.
Commissioner Cruz. Are there any more public comment? Sorry about that. Commissioner Cruz.
Yeah, I was waiting for public comments. I knew Kendra was going to talk. Yeah, I went out there and spent few hours out there. We had dinner. I met with all the staff. It's an amazing organization, but equally important, it's an organization that's providing services that we don't have a lot of other nonprofits doing something to the extent that they're doing it. And it's not just Manatee County that is going to be impacted because it's going to affect Sarasota, and Sarasota County is funding this organization as well. So it's almost like a joint nonprofit agreement. I understand there's different buckets of money that need to come from different places, and we have various metrics, but sometimes metrics are all well and good, but certain programs don't necessarily fall within something that can be quantitatively analyzed. You know, at a bare minimum, I'd love to look into our veteran services funds or some other funds to support this, because it is a really unique and a really important, and we have Tunnel the Towers coming in, and they're already working on wraparound services, and having an organization like this that we can introduce to Tunnel the Towers or to complement Tunnel to Towers, and continue our push towards assisting our veterans here in Manatee County, I think is critically important. I think it's short-sighted when there's so much push and so much momentum behind Operation Warrior Resolution to dismiss it and push it aside while it's starting to make real strides here. So I'd like to find a way to fund it either within this bucket or outside of this bucket. I think it's an important program that we're sharing with Sarasota.
Thank you, sir. I agree with your comments. With 22 veterans a day committing suicide, this program's super important to Manatee County. So if we can find a way to fund this, can you break down what their funding was last year for me?
Commissioners Tracy Adams, Deputy Director, Community and Veteran Services. So that particular application was not under Adult Human Services. That was under Health Services, which was Public Safety. And that those recommendations of funding came before you under consent. So I don't know if we have that from last year or not.
I do have the amount. The amount from last year for this agency was, where are they? It's small, sorry. 81,270. They requested 85,775. And the recommendation from Public Safety was 0.
Okay, so we can amend. We can go back and amend that.
Yeah,
correct?
we don't have to make a decision today, Mr. Chair. We can always go back, talk to staff, have them come back to us, sort of zero down on this specific group, and then come back at a later date and make a budget amendment.
I would like to do that. I would like to do that. Commissioner Ballard.
And I don't know if you guys have this information since it was under Public Safety rather than CVS, but do we know, or could the representative from the organization tell us how many veterans are and their families are being served through the organization for our $81,000?
We have around 40 to 50 veterans each month that we're serving, and that includes their spouse and their children. And we work with partners like a vet center. We provide services to the vet court across the street, literally doing groups in the courthouse, and then also hopefully we're looking to build more community partners like Tunnel to Towers so that we can establish more work here in Manatee County.
Okay. And then, so the veterans that you're serving, is it typically kind of a longer-term relationship where you're serving them for months at a time? I'm trying to figure out if it's like, 40 to 50 in August and then a completely new 40 to 50 in September. If you're serving hundreds through the year, or if you're serving maybe 100 through the year because your work is very intensive.
Yeah, that's a good question. It depends on the program.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, the veteran, Paul, that's crisis intervention. He was receiving, it was around 2 to 3 sessions when we're doing crisis intervention, and then they may go into a program that's a longer program. We do more of an intensive, comprehensive with wraparound services. That's for 90 days.
Okay, and just one more question. Do you have the ability to utilize insurance or not?
We don't have the ability to get reimbursed through insurance.
Okay.
Yes, we have looked through that. It's a complicated process.
I figured as much.
Yeah.
Commissioner Cruz, you look like you're pondering something.
No, Commissioner Van Osterman said for staff to go and work with the organization, try to come up with some solution for funding, and I'm okay with that. At first, I was going to ponder just a reconsideration of the previous consent vote so we can open that back up. But if we can bring this back in a upcoming meeting with, maybe some funding solutions, ideas, because again, to Commissioner Ballard's point, there's groups of people who come, but some of the people I met, they're working there and they previously went through the program and now they're out as ambassadors and they're helping people you're never going to see in a metric because they're talking to somebody out at some other event someplace else. They're bringing people in. They're out at stand down up at the fair. It's not as simple as how many people they're touching. It's how many people they're touching or touching other people to help their veterans and their brothers and sisters. Like I said, it's a very important program, and we need to find a way. We've got buckets of money, and I'd hate to see this one get pushed aside with the momentum we're making with our veteran services right now.
County Administrator.
Yes, sir. We realized yesterday during the third briefing there was a disconnect between the public safety and the community veteran services. we realized that we should have merged them two together. Also, during the break, we were introduced to this program, Andy Butterfield and also Sarah Brown. We've introduced them both. So we'll follow up with that.
So Andy's going to take lead and follow this?
Along with Courtney, because
Okay.
of public safety. That's
Okay.
where the disconnect was.
All right, so let's make sure we get that done and bring it back.
Okay, I'll reach
All right.
out to you, connect with Andy. Thank you. I
All right,
appreciate that.
thank you. Thank you very much.
So do we need to vote to direct staff to do anything, or are we just?
No.
We know that, okay, everybody's comfortable.
I know. I just wanted to show a quick infographic before you cast your vote for approval. So our previous year, so this is 22-23, we had about $595,000 invested in the community with 14 of our nonprofit agencies that served 19,360 of our residents. And I'll say the outcomes here of 97%, that means that all of the agencies, all of the clients that they served were able to reach the goals that they set for them. So this is pretty incredible. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Okay. Is there any other public comment regarding this item? Seeing none, I'll close public comment and looking for a motion. The motion has been made by Commissioner Ballard, second by Commissioner Turner. If everyone cast their votes now. The motion carries 5-0 with Commissioner Bearden absent. All right.
Thank you.
You guys are still up, right, for item 80? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, it's Christy Hagan again with Children's Services, and I'm again here to do the same thing Renise just did, but for the Children's Services millage. So you've all been briefed, and this is your opportunity to discuss and provide your feedback and hopefully a recommendation to accept the recommendations from the CSAB.
Commissioner Ballard.
Okay, so, hold on, there we go. So I am very grateful that I have the opportunity to be the board representative for the Children's Services Advisory Board. And let me just add that we have an extremely dedicated Children's Services Advisory Board. They spend hours and hours and hours going through the applications, and it's a harrowing process for the nonprofits who are getting funding, and also I think sometimes a harrowing process for the board themselves as they try to sift through all of the information and ensure that the nonprofits who are applying for the funding are able to meet the goals that have been set. And so I appreciate the work that they do so much, because they really do put a lot into it. That, you know, the mill that the tax that we have for the children's services is a third of a mill, so it's a lot of funding every year. And I'm proud that this is something that our community prioritizes and does. Now, that being said, I agree with every organization that we have, that the advisory board has decided to put forward this year. However, I think that there are actually a couple of organizations this year who are deserving of funding, who the board did not vote to fund. And I will say that, again, that process is extremely, extremely difficult. My concern is that if there are organizations that are funded that were not recommended by the board, that they're going to struggle with the reporting requirements. So if those organizations if this board votes to override the advisory board and fund a couple of organizations that were not recommended, they are going to need probably some assistance with those reporting requirements, making sure that they can get there, because it's a lot. So I have two organizations that I would like to see funded. One of them is the Summer Blast Camp. That is a Manatee County program. What they would like to do is provide scholarships for kids who are not able to afford camp. I think that that is exactly the population that we're trying to target here. You know, a lot of kids are put into potentially very unsafe situations in the summer when they don't have a place to go. And so I know very well that we provide an excellent camp for kids, and if we're able to provide scholarships, we can serve those kids who otherwise would have no place to go and could be put into an unsafe situation in the summer. The other organization, the ask for them, I think, is
$67,500.
The other organization that that I would like to see funded this year is Prodigal Daughters Journey Home. It's an organization that I have known of since about 2015, when I was working with Children's Legal Services. They serve mothers, typically whose children are in the child welfare system, and they are women who oftentimes the system has completely forgotten about, let go of, that people have told them that there is no hope for them. And I have seen that organization over almost 10 years successfully serve those women, help them to reunite with their children and help their children who could be in very vulnerable situations to reunite with their family and be in a safe and loving environment. I think over a couple of years, Prodigal Daughters has applied for funding. They haven't gotten the funding. I think that they have struggled a little bit with the grant process, but they do good work, and their mission perfectly aligns with what this funding is meant to do. So those would be my two recommendations that are outside of the advisory board.
What's the request for Prodigal Daughters?
100,000.
100,000.
And again, in the grand scheme of things, these are small numbers compared to the fund that we have available, but to these organizations, it means a lot.
Okay. Commissioner Cruz.
Yeah, I had two we talked about in my briefing. One was Prodigal Daughters. And the reason for it is Prodigal Daughters trying to build up and be more, and we could really use it. It's one of those things, sort of like Easter seals, where they were at capacity. They couldn't do anything. They needed that boost, that next step, and we helped them with the rescue plan funds. This is a program that's kind of capped in their ability at this point, which is unfortunate because of they're working on a capital campaign, some other things. They don't have the outreach in terms of just letting the public know they even exist, but they're providing a very important service that's helpful to Manatee County. And sometimes it's that $100,000 that gets them over the hurdle and get that word out, and then all of a sudden outside funding starts coming in and donations start coming in. And sometimes it's these great nonprofits providing a service. We just need to give them that little boost, that little bit of attention, and then they could take care of themselves, become more self-sufficient. So I do think Prodigal Daughters is at that kind of make or break point, and it'll be incredibly helpful to do it. So I'm on board. I'll support that along with Commissioner Ballard. The other one, just because it was odd, because it's been our number one focus up here for so long, is Isaiah 117. Like, we put a lot of effort into foster care, adoption. We spent a lot of time in Tallahassee. They provide an amazing service. And somebody told me in my briefing, it's like, well, it's like 38, it's only 38 kids. It's like, as of now, because they don't have the funding, but for those 38 kids, that's like an amazing, important service. Like, I just watched the Sound of Hope movie when it came out in the movie theater, and you saw some of these kids getting moved from foster home to foster home. And it's like, that's a miserable experience for these kids. And they're providing a great opportunity for these kids to get taken out of bad situations and have comfortable places to stay, where they're not sitting on some wooden chair in somebody's office for 48 hours while you try to do an emergency foster care placement. You know, those are the kind of organizations we really need to help around here in Manatee, especially if we're going to say that foster care and adoption is like a pinnacle of importance to this board. You know, it was a little, I was surprised that their matrix number was so low, considering how I would argue they're one or tied for one in terms of this board's importance. I'd love to find a way of helping them as well.
Commissioner, do you know what the request was for?
96,000.
Yeah, what we could do is we could pull all three, put them all three to a vote to fund. So it'd be a separate motion. Do we need to do all three at each time, or can we do them all three together?
Do them together because we're going to vote.
Huh?
We're going to vote for them the same.
Do them together? Okay. So can you guys,
So should we vote on the regular ones first, get that over with, and, well, the ones that were recommended for funding by the advisory board?
I think we're effectively voting on modifying the request to the advisory board, and then we'll vote on the modified request.
Yeah, okay.
So you're adding those three.
Okay, so there's been a motion, there's a new motion out there to approval of the Children's Services Advisory Board FY25 investment recommendation for nonprofit agencies serving children throughout the Children's Services dedicated millage and additional funding for Prodigal Daughters, Isaiah 117, and Summer Blast Camp.
So just to be clear,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, just so not to backseat drive, I just want to understand. So there's a motion on the board by Commissioner Ballard to fund the motion, to approve the motion as written, correct? It needs a second, which I guess I can do. And then what I think the easiest, smoothest way, Madam County Attorney, is now I would like to make a motion to amend the motion on the floor to include the three organizations.
They already put it on there.
Oh, it's already on there?
It's in there already. So it says
Well,
adding
aren't they
funding for
slick?
Prodigal
Yeah.
Daughters, Isaiah 117, and Summer Blast Camp.
Ahead of me, they are.
Yeah, we're
It's
just,
a new technology.
it's all,
Yeah.
it's AI.
Money well spent.
So go ahead.
All right, so
If you click yes.
So do we want additional, adding funding for those, do we want to state the funding requested?
The
Or is that just perceived?
It's perceived.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so there's been a motion on the board by Commissioner Ballard, second by Commissioner Van Ostenbridge.
You didn't open for public comment.
And, oh, sorry, I got to open for public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would come forward on item number 80 for public comment? I'm getting all excited about this.
Yeah, if you're already on the list, if you've already been added to the list, I
Yeah,
would stay
real
in your
action.
seat. You can only screw it up from here.
Yeah,
Nothing good can
you
happen.
can say thank you and sit down.
Carly Hudson, Manatee County resident. I don't know what I wrote here that could say anything else, but thank you. God bless you. I do want to just share one little part of this because you know I have to. I just want to share with you the story of the starfish. There was a young man that was on the beach, and a bunch of starfish were washing up on the shore. And he was throwing them in. And a passerby walked by and said, "What are you doing? You're never going to help all these people. You're never going to make a difference." And he threw that one starfish back in and said, "It mattered to that one. I'm that one. I'm a graduate of Prodigal Daughters. I've been through hell and back. And it's because of faithful organizations like Prodigal Daughters that we come out of that. I now work for Manatee County. I'm a future law student. I'm on the board for Manatee Tiger Bay. I'm at Kiwanis, Leadership Manatee. There can be change in our county, and it starts with a yes. And I just want to say thank you for seeing a starfish.
All right, is anyone else like to come forward and give public comment on item number 80?
There's people crying. I don't want to start crying. There's people
Yes, ma'am, please state your name, your county residence, and you have 3
My name
minutes.
is Denise Gattuso, and I'm the director of Prodigal Daughters. And I just want to say thank you so much. It is a pleasure to work with you people. You have passed the bill for us to expand not too long ago, and we are so blessed to be able to partner with you. I love this county. I come from New York. I like this county better.
I thought Tennessee.
No, I'm not from, yeah. But I want to thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, would anyone else like to come forward? Seeing no one else, I'll go ahead and close public comment. There's been a motion on the board by Commissioner Ballard, seconded by Commissioner Van Ostenbridge. If anyone would cast their votes now. And the motion carries 5-0 with Commissioner Bearden absent. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Okay, now, did we go? All right, we'll just do that. Okay, up next, item 81. Convention and Visitors Bureau. Elliot again.
2 times in one day.
I know, we're fortunate.
Or you get 5 free counseling sessions if you need help after me. Good morning again. I need y'all to appoint 2 TDC seats. So the TDC Tourist Development Council has 9 seats. One is held by the chair, Commissioner Turner, and then 2 other elected official seats. It was Mayor Jean Brown and Mayor Shirley Groover Bryant. And then you have 2 interested citizen seats, and then the 4 are hotel, motel, general manager, owner seats. The 2 other elected officials expired in June. Both Mayor Brown and Mayor Bryant have applied for reappointment. And then you have a 3rd that applied, Lisa Gonzalez Moore. She is a city councilwoman for the city of Bradenton. Please keep in mind that under the law, the largest municipality in the county is guaranteed a seat. So you do need to vote in, obviously, somebody from the city of Bradenton. Their term, once you appoint or reappoint, will not expire till June 2028. Now, the caveat is Mayor Shirley Groover Bryant is going to be finished as mayor post-election. At that time, she will need to resign from her seat if you reappoint her. And then that new Palmetto mayor or another elected official in Manatee County, non-county commissioner, can apply for that seat. And then whoever you appoint will assume that term.
Okay.
Hopefully I articulated that well enough.
Thank you very much. What I'd like to do is get a motion to open nominations.
I don't think you need a motion.
You don't think we need a motion?
I think you can just open them.
We can just open them?
You need a
Okay.
motion to close them.
Okay.
I nominate Mayor Shirley Groover Bryant.
Okay. I'll second that.
You taking nominations for both seats?
Yeah, let's take them at the same time.
I nominate Mayor, there you go.
Second.
All right, thank you. Okay.
I move to close nominations.
All right, thank you. Everybody okay with closing nominations? All right, thank you. All right, so we've had.
I think you have to have a proper vote on closing nominations.
Do we need?
You do.
Okay. Okay. All right. Can I have a vote on closing nominations? It's the motion's not here, but can I have it?
I motion, but you need a second.
Okay. I thought I had a second. I thought I got a second. Okay. All right. All those in favor of closing nominations, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. So we have moved to appoint Mayor Bryant and Mayor Brown to the TDC. Do we need that? Put it in the motion?
You should officially vote.
Huh?
You should officially vote.
Oh, I know, but I'm looking for, okay. Yeah, I know. I mean, is there any public comment regarding item 81 of the appointments that have been recommended? All right, seeing none, I'll close public comment. All right, there's been a, just still says to appoint too, okay. All right, I need a motion on item number 81.
Second.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. The mayors.
Yeah, the 2 mayors.
The honorable
The 2
mayors.
Yeah, the motion, well, I mean, it says on here to still appoint. All right, I need a motion to appoint the 2 that have been recommended for the CDC.
So moved.
Okay. Commissioner Ballard made the motion,
All right. Do we have a second?
and we have a second. All right, here we go. Appointment of the 2 elected officials to the Tourist Development Council, Mayor Shirley Bryant and Mayor Jean Brown. I have a motion by Commissioner Ballard and a second by Commissioner Turner. If everyone cast their votes now. Motion carries 5-0 with Commissioner Beard being absent. You got your board back.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Right. Item number 82. Property management. Morning, Charles.
Morning, Commissioners. Good morning, County Attorney, County Administrator. My name is Charles Metter. I'm the Property Acquisition Division Manager. We're excited to present another contract for sale and purchase. Excuse me, a little under the weather. For the Environmental Lands Program. Before I have Deborah give a quick presentation on that, just a quick update on the Emerson Point transaction. the county has closed on the Emerson Point transaction, so we do
Yay.
now own the land and fee. So, excuse me. I'll turn over to Deborah for the talking. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Ron, Commissioners, Madam Attorney, Mr. Bishop. I'm grateful to be here this morning to ask your support for approval of the purchase of Triple Oak Preserve. This is, oh wait, I need just next slide, please. I don't know if I have here we go. Okay. Works, great. This property is a beautiful 105 acres in Mayaca. It's due west of Mayaca City. As far as natural resources go, it helps us make a connection between the Manatee River State Park to the south and the conservation easements that lie west of Flatford Swamp to the north. It's a nice mix of different habitat types. There's uplands, wetlands, mesic and scrubby flatwoods, and ponds and marshes. It's in the headwaters of Tatum Sawgrass, which is a pretty unique ecosystem. And there's plentiful wildlife, both common and rare. The picture in the bottom right is of the property probably last spring. And when Vicki and Orrin Oberlander bought this property back in 1996, the only trees on that first parcel they bought were 3 oaks that you see in the bottom center picture. And that's where the preserve gets its name, Triple Oak Preserve. We worked on that name for a while, and that's where it landed. So they soon after started working with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission on a stewardship plan for the property to reforest. And they have this official plan that they've followed, developed by professionals. And over the years, they've planted over 35,000 trees. They've done prescribed burns, managed the brush, exotic species, and done a wonderful job managing it. So there's really no restoration required for this property. It's easy to step in and take over managing it. They weren't able to be here this morning, but I want to say that they are very kind and generous people. They're very humble, and I want to thank them for trusting Manatee County Natural Resources to preserve their land and provide for public enjoyment in perpetuity. That was very important to them. It's a very important part of this purchase. So there are 2 homes on the property. One is near Betts Road. It does have ADA access and could serve as a nice visitor center with a restroom, or could be a ranger home for security, although might not be essential for this property. The second home is larger and more on the interior, and discussions we've had, some great uses for it would be for IFAS, because it's closer to their agricultural clientele rather than their offices in Palmetto. It would also serve for workshops and meetings that they don't really have a venue for. Also, in the future, as the population, becomes more dense out in that area, it could be a great venue for environmental education and other community programs as well. The map in the bottom right shows some of the yellow dots are some proposed trails, just some general concept for ideas that would go throughout the property, both some paved and unpaved, because their driveway is paved. We might be able to use that if we find another route for the cars in. And great place for hiking, biking, birding, picnics, activities like that. The 3 pictures on the bottom were taken this spring. Like I said, it's a beautiful property. In September of 2023, LMAC unanimously recommended it to the board for consideration for purchase. We've been working on the contract since then, and we're here today requesting your approval for execution both of the purchase contract and the escrow agreement that is part of it.
Any questions? No, that's a good news story. All right. We have no questions. So we have a motion by Commissioner Cruz, a second by Commissioner Turner on item 82 and the purchase of the Triple Oak Preserve. Will you please cast your votes now? The motion carries 5-0 with Commissioner Beard being absent. Congratulations. Great job, LMAC, on bringing this forward.
Thank you. We might be able to close in as little as 45 days on this property.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Fantastic. Yes. All right. Moving forward. Are there any Commissioner agenda items need to bring forward? Yes, sir, Commissioner Turner.
It's on.
You're on.
I think most of you know that I sit on TBRPC.
Yeah.
And so they've requested to do a short presentation in front of us to describe their services and what they provide. I'd like to put it on the next agenda. I think it's pretty important. It's state mandated, and it's a six-figure contribution that I think there's leverages that we could perhaps leverage that they provide. So would that be okay?
Sure.
Absolutely.
County Administrator?
It would be the August 27th.
Highlight of my day on
Yeah, do you want to put that under administrative items early in the presentation, earlier?
Whatever you say, yeah.
Okay.
Next one is August 13th.
August 13th.
Oh, well, this is, like to place this a future agenda. Well, they're saying the 27th. It's the 27th.
27th.
That's fine. All right, thank you. All right. Any other Commissioner agenda items? County Attorney, do you have anything you'd like to?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. County Administrator? All right. Any other Commissioner comments before we adjourn? All right, we are good. Thank you very much. We're adjourned.